What's going on, guys? I actually decided for the second video I'm just going to kind of wrap up what the last 3 or 4 days entailed. Of course, I've got some more Wisconsin weather for you. We're going to have another ice storm tonight. This is what started today. You can see all the ice already started flying. We got a kind of a dead spot here, so I'm heading out to the shop to finish up. The last thing I'm doing today is actually finishing up on the hydro, doing the brake fluid, bleeding that, and then installing my armrest. But we got quite a few other things done. We'll run through those throughout the rest of the video. I know you guys in the south have some pretty steep gas prices, but if you look over here, $2.54. Not bad, boys. Not bad. Well, folks, upon arrival, there's nobody here, and I don't have a key, so now we're waiting on Colton. There he is. Alright, so Colton picked up a new, I guess, work van. Only $600, so let's check this thing out. Not bad. Even good tires for $600. You can't duck it, fuck it. Space for days. I did pull the intercooler piping all out, and I stripped it with the airline stripper, and that was not in a well ventilated area. That was quite the good time, but nonetheless they have all been stripped down. And I did rough them up a bit, ready for the paint. And now I just got to tape them off, create a section that I can paint them in, and we'll get going. Finally finished the piping. I took off all the tape, so obviously the places that are still chrome or the aluminum color, those will be covered with the couplers, so I wanted a good seal, left the paint off of that. But here is the finished product. Actually turned out pretty darn good, and of course we'll show you when it's in the car how that looks. The same stuff was used on the bash bar, so it will match that. I'm also working on mocking up the new intercooler, so a bit bigger than the original SBD kit had. Alright, we got the CX Racing intercooler and all the piping put back on the car. Here we are. Really a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to brush that up. Everything else looks solid. And when you put the intercooler on, it really maxes the hell out of the stock piping, but you can, or I shouldn't say stock for the SBD piping, but you can get away with using that and the same couplers. On to the harnesses. This is a 4-point setup in here. But obviously I already have my passenger side in, and you can see one of them here. And you can see it come through. Now I have the harness bar. See, the bottoms are underneath the seat bracket through there, so they come up over. So the two bottoms are done. Pretty self-explanatory. let's throw in the other harnesses. In case you guys can't see it, got a nice, neat little wrap coming down both sides. It is the next day. My GoPro died yesterday, so I couldn't get any more footage. I think bad news. We hooked up the battery to start everything up again, and the car is cranking, but there's no spark. It won't turn over and run. After looking through everything, what we think it is a sensor that's in the transmission from when we did the clutch. So we're gonna have to drop the transmission, pull out the clutch, pull out the flywheel, and get to that sensor. Hopefully that's the problem, or we're doing all that shit for nothing. Alright, so this morning Colton and Johnny actually put the car on the lift and they pulled the tranny. They found that it was off by one tooth, so hopefully that fixes our problem. But this actually gives you guys a chance to see the ACT clutch, and actually all you're going to see is the pressure plate, but we'll show you anyways. And I also got a new clutch fork in there. And if you look, you'll see the ACT in there. And then we did a transmount bushing, you'll see down there. Tighten up everything on the drivetrain. Alright, trans is back in and everybody here is just fucking happy.
Get me out of this!
That is a hell of a pain in the ass. I mean, not that I really did much, but...
Spinning the back wheels and out of that.
I owe Colton a new hip, I guess. We've got the intercooler here. It actually flexes down on this bottom tray. So what I'm gonna do is notch out some holes for those to sit inside of. That'll give it a little bit more security on the bottom. And after further review, I actually decided to just take that piece off. So we can make some mounting brackets that'll go from here out to these two to secure that. We may not even need them on the top and just run the bottom. Alright, so what's going to happen is we're going to take flat stock, go from one to the other, and then weld in another piece of flat stock to go underneath to that bracket. And that should hold it solid enough on the bottom. The top's pretty solid, so once that's good, it shouldn't move at all. Alright, now here's the finished bracket. Here, just as I explained it, and it is solid as all hell. I can check the car with it. We're gonna spray it just matte black so we don't get any rust problems. It is just steel, but there you guys go. And the beginning stages of a tow hook. This is Manji. You guys will be seeing him in the vlogs. He's very well behaved. He is a little pugston, sorry. He said his name is Manji, and you'll see him every now and then. Alright, while the rest of the drive shaft goes in, I started on painting the front bash bar to match the rear. Alright, we got the car started, so that problem is taken care of. Trans is back in. Don't have to worry about that anymore. What we are working on now is mounting the PBM Hydro into that spot I showed yesterday. Here's that. And we've got a bracket being made. And what we are doing is actually putting a piece in the center there. We're going to drill 2 holes in it, and that will pinch the hydro in. And then, like I said, it is on the passenger side of the car because I am a freakishly tall dude. All right, another day back out at the shop. Gonna get some more stuff. Actually, we're starting to finish up. The event is coming up about 20 days now, and we should have time to retune the vehicle, make sure everything checks out before I get out there. But hey, let's get inside and get started once again. Here is Evan's car, the guy that does most of my welding on everything. That really makes me miss my stock body. I do have a soft spot for that. Bumper is mounted back on the car. See the intercooler, the tow hook is peeking out just where I wanted it to. Also have new tires on the front wheels, the smaller tires I talked about the other day. And the drift spares are on the car. Still have to work on the bumper a little bit, but the bash bar is also on. We're starting to run the lines for the hydro. And here are the brackets, or the brakes with the wheels off, and you'll see it's going to be hard to see for you guys, but the bracket is right down there. And then you see, like I mentioned before, our subframe bushings are in. I also dremeled out the rear of the bumper, so the bash bar is exposed. Just a Ricer thing that I wanted to do. Piece. Alright, the hydro lines are being ran. We're heading up through the tunnel here for the transmission. And then under the center console up to the hydro. The hydro has been completely bolted in, so it ain't going anywhere. I still have to tighten all these screws. Johnny ran the line, it was ran over the subframe, and then under this bracket here, you'll see the same way, tucks underneath. I know you guys can't see that, and then it does resume forward and right under these notches over the drive shaft, and then you have it going into the cabin underneath the console, as I mentioned earlier. Alright, I'm going to start putting the shifter and everything back together since we're pretty much done with it. All here. Now I did finish putting back together the interior, so we'll show you a little bit of that. Now, like I said, the last thing we have to do is hook up the rest of the hydro. We have the line there, so it's almost done. Alright, now we're putting the brake fluid into the hydro with a little rig here. Make sure we get all the air bubbles out of it. Hello, Joe. So we got the hydro ran. You can see everything hides underneath the console here. Also put in the little fire extinguisher. Never know, better safe than sorry. And I put that between the driver and passenger side, little humps in the back. And then we just installed the armrest. And I really think these cars should have came with one. I love having an armrest. I don't know how people go without it. I know a couple of my friends do, but whatever. Alright, well, my GoPro died, but back to what I was saying. We got the armrest in, and it's actually seems like a great quality. This is the European OEM armrest.
I take a picture.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, hi.
My GoPro died, so I'm doing this.
Oh.
But a little bit of a pain in the ass, not really too bad. Just be smart when you're putting it in. And the fitment looks great, of course, being OEM. Alright, I think this is where we're gonna end the videos. I know it was kind of all over the place, but there was a lot of things to cover. Like you saw in the beginning, there is snow absolutely everywhere. I don't know how well you can see it right now, but our track, where I'm actually drifting in 14 days, has 22 inches and it's still coming down up there. So hopefully it's all melted by the time we go up there in 2 weeks. This is just insane, but that's the Midwest for you. Next video will be when all this shit clears up and I can take the car out, wash it down. We'll need to do an alignment and oil change, and the car should be all set to go. But until then, we will see you guys later. Thanks. I mean, really, you gotta be shitting me. It is halfway through freaking April.